First Memory by Louise Glück. Long ago, I was wounded. I lived to revenge myself against my father, not for what he was, for what I was. From the beginning of time in childhood, I thought that pain meant I was not loved. It meant I loved.
Uduasha City, where the sun is a mirror and the moon a shadow, where dancers cavort in forbidden operas, making love to forgetting and flame, where the wealthy play at war with silver swords and silken sashes, where the people mine the dead heart of a burning star for cannonballs and pipework, and where 1,000 secrets hide in a forest of paper and ink. Here, the 5 keybearers reside, the 5 who know the secrets of the broken gates of death. 5 only. There is no 6th spire, forlorn and forgotten in the desert. There is no one who looks to the displaced, the poor and destitute and landless, whose ancestry has been stripped from them by foreign looms and foreign sparkcraft, and no one has ever heard of the House of Endings. But this is their story. Their roots pulled up and burned, they stand in filth up to their necks, and that is precisely why they must keep their heads ever high. Welcome to Uduasha, immigrant. May it fear the name of the house you will build. Welcome to Desperate Attune, an actual play podcast about characters with their identities in peril, played by an international cast devoted to fiction-first gaming, collaborative world-building, and complex character drama. Welcome back, everyone, to Desperate Attune and the House of Endings. And today, our plans have changed a little bit. As you are aware, Emma is phasing out of the podcast and moving on, and so we were going to focus on Moss's story this session, but regrettably, we're having some scheduling issues, and Emma is not well today, so we will be taking the story in a slightly different direction, and we will get back to the story of Moss as soon as we can. But for now, the people who are here are Aadiyat. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Also Tree.
Namaste.
Also Klow.
Yeah, I just want before I say hello, I wanted to point out that the way Tree said that it sounded like ananas.
Oh, that's not what I said, but don't worry about it.
Ananas
Ananas is pineapple, I think, in Spanish.
Yes, in many
Yes.
languages.
In all languages except English, more or less, or in many languages at least.
So, hello.
Hello. And we also have our new player, Salty. Welcome, Salty.
Hola. Me gusta ananas.
Well, thank you. You're fitting right in with the deranged introductions.
Is your name
burning
Gusta Ananas?
No,
Me
I like
Gusta Ananas. Me Salty, me play.
Okay.
playbook style. Why use lot word when
Yes.
few word do
Okay.
trick?
So
Yes.
Salty, aka Gusta Ananas. Good to know your real
What?
name.
Not
Salty.
trick? What?
Yes,
Step it up. Yeah, sorry, keep going.
now I'm imagining you just need to add one letter and it becomes a name, Gustav Ananas. But anyway,
Well, there's always more
Future
NPCs to
NPC.
generate. Yeah.
yes. Okay, Augustus Khan's brother, Gustav Ananas. Anyway, with that out of the way,
Oh,
this introduction is a little bit of a mess. But when we left off last session, quite a lot of things had happened. We had met Clementine, the golden-eyed rover from Sunfall, who has come to Uduasha to seek out a sword school to train, and then immediately proved that training was somewhat superfluous because Clementine easily kicked everyone's ass in the school, but that does not, of course, mean that Clementine necessarily has the insight into either politics or spirituality which the school offers, which I got the feeling that Clem has interest in this direction, yeah?
Yeah.
She has been promoted to trainer.
She has been promoted to trainer. But she has also been impressed by like Saeeda's overall general wisdomfulness.
That's
She had a
because Clementine has yet to be exposed to the fullness of Saeeda's wisdomfulness.
Yes.
Can't wait.
They threw Prince Katam into the wilderness when it was done.
Yes.
We also, to continue on this, we also saw the Falling Star Sword School begin to hit the crew in a variety of ways. They have gotten Bidrohi's tailor accused of violating sumptuary laws.
Those fucking bastards.
Yes. They have sent the Fursan after Mushfiq. And they have generally kicked up a stir and caused a lot of problems. And one of the other things that happened was that an unlikely ally appeared to deal with this problem for now, which was lesser, very much lesser, if it was to be believed, demon of exes in the form of a bunch of leeches that showed up and made some kind of a bargain or compact.
I think it's very important that we give it its full names.
Yes.
Yes.
Scab of Ixis, Pus of Ixis, Dirt under Ixis's feet.
Yes.
What a lad.
Yes, this creature has essentially hired, or attempted to hire at least, the crew as assassins, and is for now warding off the Fursan. But Mushfiq is still a wanted man. Even the demon's influence could not like completely scrub away like all the wanted posters and so on. And so this is where we pick up. And I think last time everyone had done all of their downtime actions, so we are basically ready and raring to go for a thing, a score-shaped thing. Yes?
I was gonna because I had such a bad time last time, barely managed to clear any stress because of that fucker who sent me a poem. Psychological poetry. That's what we've got.
Oh, by the way, are you going to write that for us?
This is Tree from the future. Just here to say that our intrepid listeners will recall that episode 17 of this campaign, Main Character Energy, began with this scathing poem. So it turns out I did write it. Anyway, back to Indulging Vice.
I'm gonna indulge Vice.
Yeah. Okay. You overindulge. And
I actually, if it's okay with you, I should lose access to the jetty, because I suspect what happens is I might get attacked while I'm here and I gotta run away. And until I figure out whatever is happening with the Falling Star, they may not let me back in.
Who attacks you at the jetty? Is it the Falling Star or is it something else entirely?
I will leave that up to Prince.
so, you lose access to the jet. I don't think you would lose access to the jetty just because someone attacks you there. Or
Okay.
Or maybe you would. Let me open up the book real quick. I have an idea, but I need to remember. I wrote an NPC that may be relevant in this situation.
Pet Members Club, always numbering 333.
Lol.
Yeah, the Ruby Jetty is a members only club, of which Saeeda is not a member, right? But they sort of allow you to hang out outside. Like they tolerate your presence in the area, but you don't get the free dinners, basically.
Yes.
And so, give me a second while I look this up. What the kind of district is this?
What the hell kind of district is this?
Yes.
What the hell was that? Tree?
I'm not exactly sure.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes I'm just possessed.
I'm the only one allowed on this chat allowed to do an insane American accent.
I feel like when
You stick to G'day. Stick to G'day.
Sorry, what were you saying, Aadiyat?
I was saying that like in my experience, whenever you do something like that, like it doesn't really help to ask the question why you did it.
No, it really doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, never
okay.
once helped.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I have an idea. I think J. Clev is a man who operates on many levels and who is smart. And I think the way this overindulgence will go is you were trying to deal with his poetry. And so I think it's only fair that he will fuck this up for you personally. And he will deny you access to the jetty.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's only fitting.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't just do that by sending thugs at you. It's quite unrefined.
Yeah.
And so
Oh,
what will instead happen is that J. Clev has, as we know, not been seen outside very much. He has not moved about very much. He has sent you this poem, and then he has focused matters on other things. And it is not the case that he is just going to kick you out or deny you access to your place of vice indulgence. But what will happen is quite simply, this club always has the same number of members. You can only get an entrance when someone dies. And so word gets out to you that J. Clev has killed one of them and is now a club member.
Oh my
Go there at
fucking
your own
god.
risk.
Okay. That's great. That's
So
fantastic. That's lovely.
Yeah, it's not like you can't go there. It's just that you would come face to face with him, and as Saeeda has established, he's a way better sword fighter than you, and you would be trespassing, so he would even be within his rights to just kill you.
Yeah. Okay. Great. I find this out because he has sent a person who works at the club with a letter letting me know of this, and I immediately fuck off. I don't have that much pride that I don't run away when I know I'm going to lose.
Yeah.
So this doesn't necessarily have to be the angle of the score, but let's remember, J. Clev has just murdered some rich person.
Yeah. He has. I mean, he did it. He did it entirely legally, so to speak. There was a duel.
Yeah.
There was a reason.
Yeah. I'm just saying that there may be an angle for someone to pay us to take revenge. We'll see.
There may.
Yeah.
But I think this is the most elegant solution, and it also somehow fits Ustad J. Clev to be a member of this exclusive and mysterious club.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
and
not even because he wants to be. He's doing it because it's funny and it'll fuck me off.
Yep.
Absolutely.
We have to see this man on screen at some point.
Yes.
You say that. How about we don't? How about we just murder him off screen? I could do a long-term project to fuck him over off screen. How about that?
Yeah, how long is that project going to be?
So there may. I will phrase it like this. I think there will be an opportunity for you to use this score, but it's not an opportunity that will fall into your laps.
Yeah.
But you will for sure hear of the person he has killed, and you can investigate this. You can gather information about it, as it were. But I think you have the more immediate problem that so there are a lot of immediate problems, actually. One of them is Mushfiq is still wanted. One of them is Tumdurji, the tailor, is in deep trouble. And the third is quite simply that, I mean, the Falling Star Sword School are looking to dispose of you. And they are, I mean, they're an elegant sword school of duelists, so they will not simply like jump you in an alley, but what they will try to do is to get you when you are not together. And I think you can figure this much out.
Yeah.
And so basically, I will open this with a brief opportunity for you to gather some information, but also basically just with the rumor catching on, like pretty quickly after last session, I think, that members of the Falling Star Sword School have been seen in Bundervest. And this alone is an unusual thing, because Bundervest is the crowded immigrant district, and the Falling Star School members are, I mean, they're basically celebrities, right? At least the graduate members. So they can't exactly go in here incognito. A lot of them are basically rock stars.
Yeah. Why would they come here unless? Okay. That's
so
fine.
who has been here? Like
Yeah.
So
I thought about this, and I don't think it makes sense for it to be Turzan Diamondtooth. I think it's a little bit beneath him. He is one of the very high-ranking members, right? So this is going to be some also quite famous, but not like the leaders of the organization. Like J. Clev would not do this personally. And
Could it be
is practically a second in command.
Could it be a certain black sheep of the family who's recently returned from a failed experiment at running a school in Dustfall?
It could. I was not going to go in that direction, but it absolutely could.
Because we've already seen her. It'd be nice to bring her back. Yeah, I'm thinking of Mylara
Clev. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Oh yeah, Salty. That's a thing.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Red Sashes failed over in.
That's cool. Yep. And Mylara. Well, we didn't know exactly if they had failed, but things were going poorly, at least, last we saw her. And I guess they have gone poorlier.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, sure. So Mylara Clev has been seen here. I have also prepared some ass-kicking individuals who will be introduced at a later time, who have also been seen here.
Muy bien.
I have two ideas. One of which I'm happy to pursue, and the other, I think they both make sense for me to pursue. So I think I'm going to try to get the band back together. That's the first thing I'm going to try to do. How's Mona doing these days? Mona darling.
Mona darling. Oh, okay. So, for listeners who didn't listen to season 1, to just refresh everyone's memories, Mona darling was the single surviving member of the old Rising Moon Sword School that we saw in season 1, the one led by Ramu the Golden. And I think she's the only one to have survived, actually. And yeah, anything else you want to add about her, Bidrohi? You have her as a contact?
So last we saw her, she was pretty fucked up after having... What did Moss do to her? I think Moss did something really fucked up to her, didn't... Sorry, not Moss. Joan.
Joan bit her face quite savagely. Like,
and then Vickers turned up to her hospital room with Joan to make very clear that if she tried to take revenge for the fact that every single person in her crew got fucking murdered, then the woman who bit her face off may come back to finish the job.
Yeah. So she has taken psychological harm as much as physical harm. But yeah, what's the reason that she's not part of the school, Bidrohi? I think it's important that you say, like, why doesn't she just hang out with you guys?
Main reason is that the school dissolved. The school dissolved, and this thing that's kind of like a coalesced now. It was largely like Bidrohi just hanging out with like the two people who were still like biggest Ramu fans in the universe, Murad and Pilot, and then of course some other people started joining and all that. Saeeda is like the Rising Moon's sword style and all that. We have to kind of like keep that going, but like, I guess what I'm saying is that this school that we have now has like no real continuity with the old one. It just happens to have some of the same people, and it just happens to have me. So there was like no particular reason for her to want to join, and I think like she just kind of she's on my contact list, but like I don't think we're friends as such, especially not after Ramu got himself and everyone she loves killed.
Yeah, and she wasn't a particularly big fan of Ramu. She was not his darling, after all.
Yeah.
So,
no.
Absolutely. I think that she can now be found in the district of Uduasha known as the Hand, which is 3 great shafts stabbed into the ground, looking like fingers. Hence the name of the district. It's the mining quarters of Uduasha, where people dig up the star metal that fell alongside the star. It's a crowded, noisy, and clanging district, and one with very few Ketrisi in it, because not a lot of the Ketrisi, know much about mining. But some people drift over there looking for jobs, looking for work. And so she lives somewhere there among the Chainbreaker University and the mining shafts and the strange crews that sometimes delve under Uduasha in search of artifacts. And she's joined one of them, in fact. Yeah. She's a treasure hunter now.
I'm going to try to convince her to come back. And there's a few ways we could think about this mechanically, and I'd like to think about them mechanically before we have the scene. So it's not like a long-term project, right? I want this to happen. So either an acquired asset. So we could see her as like I don't know, some expert that we acquire as an asset, or like if we succeed, then we just write her name as part of the cohort. Like she just joins the school.
Yep. I think it's logical.
Yeah, I think that might be better. Like she just becomes part of the team instead of adding another cohort.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to go try to convince her that we have a thing going on. She must have heard about it, and now we need all swords back. So I'm going to go. I'm going to bring. So Prince, who do you think was a better friend to her, Balmurad or Pilot?
I think it was Pilot, your quiet crew member who's never spoken a word. But I think Pilot was closer to Mona.
I'm going to bring Pilot, and if Saeeda Auntie wants to come, I would like to bring Saeeda Auntie with me.
I suppose I should probably come. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, we will start here then, and then I will cut back to, because I have a scene for Clem in mind also.
Oh, cool. I would say Clementine would certainly be interested in being invited along, given her vice of ancestral steel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, would 100% be into that.
Yeah, come along.
Should Mushfiq come as well?
In that case, everyone should come. Yeah.
We're all coming.
Yeah. We shouldn't be walking around on our own anyway.
Yeah.
We are holding hands.
Yeah. So out of character, like Mushfiq is still wanted. So how much of a problem is it going to be for him to just walk around? Like, is it even possible to do that without getting?
No, I mean, it's possible. Like, law enforcement is not particularly strong in Uduasha. It's just a risk, right? But I mean, you can put on a disguise or something.
Yes,
there even is subterfuge
yes,
supplies as an item you can mark. So
I will put on a disguise. And because it is entirely within, like, it's the kind of thing Mushfiq would do. And
okay, can we have your let's hear about exactly his disguise once we actually in, because I really want to see Mona react to whatever bullshit he's got going on. That's how I want to find out about what he's wearing.
Okay.
Okay, sure. So we cut to the scene and we will find out what Mushfiq is wearing in the scene. Okay, fine. Let's start with Mona then. I was not expecting this is where the session would begin, but it's fine.
Yeah. I mentioned wanting to speak to her weeks and weeks ago, and we never got around to it. I think this is the time.
Yep. In the Hand, in the mining district, there is a wall called the Wall of Souls, which commemorates a mining accident that happened generations ago at this point. And yeah, it's a wall of the names of people who have died in the mines. And there is a small drinking hole that overlooks this. Just like a small bar/restaurant from which you can see the wall and the people who come there to pay their respects to the dead. It will be at this bar that you meet her. I don't even think it has a name. It's just like a place people have set up to go drink nearby. People just say at the wall. And it's a small and rickety ramshackle place, a thatched roof to keep away some rain nestled in right where the rainwater spills down and needs to be pumped up by the great pumps and poured into the steamworks. This is where you find Mona. And she looks quite different. You have word via the Ketrisi refugee community that she lives here. And yeah, let's introduce her. Let's do a bit of a round. Starting with Tree, because you're the person who introduced Mona. So what's like her build? What about her hasn't changed? We know her face has, but...
Yeah, I think she remains physically fit. I always imagined her as someone who was very fast, and I think she remains nimble now. And I think the thing that like anyone who knew her before still recognizes in her now is that kind of like ability to always to respond to anything, like almost instantly.
Yeah. So she is fast and she is alert of her surroundings. Very well. She did receive a horrifying facial injury, and she has done something to deal with this. And I will ask Mushfiq here, what has she done? Is it surgery? Is it a mask? Is it like, how has she attempted to heal this injury or hide it?
I don't think she could afford surgery.
No, I was gonna say a mask. Like, I think it'd be a mask, like, or like. So, is it her entire face that's fucked up, or just maybe parts of her face?
Just part of her face. She received like a very savage bite to one side.
Yeah, so it'd be like a half mask or something, you know, where only the affected part is covered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what does it look like? Just in general, the vibes. Is it like an iron mask, a wood mask?
I was thinking like, I guess the material doesn't matter, right? But I assume it's been painted, like, where like it painted in the way, like I guess she figured that, you know, it's gotta be a conversation piece, right? Everyone's gonna be like, "What the hell happened to your face?" Might as well make it look nice.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So she has a decorated mask, one that's actually kind of eye-catching. Yeah, but very well.
Because she works in mines.
Yeah, she's not terribly rich. I think she's a little bit better off than most of the other miners because she engages in RKO mining.
Is that what she does?
Yeah,
okay,
she's with a gang that delves a little deeper. I mean, you know, she's still a dangerous person, not just a humble laborer.
That's such a cool name, Archeo Mining.
Yes,
she's a cool woman.
Yeah.
Bidrohi or Klow, tell me what her equipment and gear is like. Because again, you know, she's not just a miner, right? She does some dangerous stuff. So what sort of odds and ends and knickknacks and weapons and stuff does she carry?
Tree, remind me what her fighting style was. I remember that you had like a small list for this. Do you remember it?
Oh yeah. Give me 1 second because I have written this down somewhere. I like maybe she fights with a sickle because again this is Falling Star, right?
So sickle and kicking, I guess.
Yeah.
But I will say what she uses for work. She's an archaeo miner, right? That's the higher end shit. And this is the hand. This is probably the most dusk volian part of Uduasha, right?
Yep.
She's got like a backpack with a Sparkcraft battery, and she's got a long drill lens.
Oh, okay. So, okay, that's weird. All right, yes. So she's got an electroplasmic drill as a weapon.
Yeah,
modified so that you can also stab people with it.
Mounted on a spear. This is just what they use to archaeo mine.
Okay, excellent.
Yes.
And lastly, Clem, I have saved the question for you, which is actually in character. This is what Clementine sees. What to you strikes you as most dangerous about this woman? All the other things entirely aside.
Oh, I think she's not got her back to the wall or anything. She's right in the middle of the restaurant bar, maybe even near the overlook. And when we approach her, she's got her back to us, completely aware of we're there, but it's a little bit of an insult there.
Yeah. And she is eating a bowl of snails. And as you approach, she like crunches down one of the shells against the table, just audibly, and there is a crack to notify that she has noticed you. And she turns slightly so that you see the masked side of her face. And she just says, Kethrisi.
So she would say that if she didn't immediately notice me, right? Because she would know me. So I'm also, because
you're
not been
a
that
big
long.
group of people entering. So I think maybe she noticed it from your dialect as you were talking to each other as you entered or something.
Yeah.
But there aren't a lot of Kethrisi here. They stand out a little.
Yeah, and she asked the question in Kethrisi. as well.
Yes.
Remind me how long it's been since everything went down? Since the events of season 1? We talked about it. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Was
I
it
don't
a year?
remember either.
At least a couple hours, right? Couple hours, what? A couple of years.
Yeah,
It was a year
A
until-
year or two.
Yeah,
I think so.
because it was a year before even we started season 1, and then some times passed between season 1 and season 2 of this campaign. So
Okay. So the reason she doesn't go hello Bidrohi is not because she didn't see me first, because I would obviously be at the forefront with Saeeda. It's because when I used to be an apprentice, my dad would make me shave my head
Yeah.
as a ritual humiliation.
Yeah, you look different. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'll be like, hello Mona, it's me, Bidrohi. Do you remember me? I'm Ramu's son, Bidrohi. How are you doing? You look very... What the hell is that thing in your hand?
It's a drill.
It's a
I guess.
drill?
If you're referring to
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
that thing.
And she had reached for it because she just noticed potential danger about, and now her hand withdraws from it. And she says, Bidrohi, you like snails?
Fucking love a good snail. Okay, amazing. Mona, you were always, you were always so generous. Everyone, come around. Let's all get some snails in together. Oh, I'm sorry.
Hey,
So sorry.
hey. Didn't say everyone. I said Bidrohi, you like snails?
Yes, I like snails, but come on, Mona. This is the Rising Moon Sword School.
No, it
We're
isn't.
all like brother. Mona.
would you like to test that statement?
No, auntie, please. I told you it's a difficult history. Okay, but
Yes,
Mona,
which is why I have permitted you. But let me tell you, I will not take any insult about our school, not from someone who cannot back it up. Ustad J. Clev may say what he likes. He could cut us in half.
this is going very poorly, and it hasn't even begun yet. How? Okay, guys, Saeeda auntie, Mona. Okay, this is Mona. This is Saeeda auntie. Saeeda auntie is absolute badass, Rising Moon Swords woman, straight from Khatam village in Kethris, where I don't think Mona is actually from Khatam.
No, I
No, I think
think
she's
I
probably
don't even
somewhere
know
else,
that
yeah.
Ramu was. Your mother was, right?
Oh
So,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and she's straight from Khatam. You know my hometown, and these are the other people in the school. Oh, there's Pilot. You remember Pilot? Hello, Pilot.
Pilot nods as
Yes, of
everyone
course.
goes like slight
Of course,
up
Pilot
nod,
does not.
tossing her hair back, and then she approaches. She sits down and she grabs a snail, and Mona tilts her head, looks at her, and says, "Yeah, right, one. Bidrohi, I'm just giving you because you're a kid. You need them to grow. Okay, it's protein."
Mhm. Okay. Healthy breakfast makes man healthy, wealthy, and wise, he says, and sits down and he takes a snail. And
And yeah, she is pointedly being very rude to the rest of you by not inviting you to eat, right? But that's how it goes.
But I'll be like, and okay, so Mona doesn't want to share her snails with everyone, but we can all get some snails. Waiter, get some snails. And before I got distracted, I was apologizing to Clementine, and now I'm speaking Hadrati. I was apologizing to Clementine because we should conduct this conversation in Hadrati so that our Sephirosi companion can understand this. See, look, what do you mean this isn't the Rising Moon Source School? We are going international now, Mona.
Several, she says, and she turns and looks at Clem, and I think this is the first time there's eye contact between Mona and Clem, who had so far not been like paying you a huge amount of attention. But there is this, she makes eye contact, she sizes you up, and tries to get a sense of you. And I think she immediately understands that you're a very dangerous person. I think that much is obvious about you.
What? She didn't get that from me, but she got it from Clem? I gotta work on my stink eye.
Yes.
Clem is very much stink-eyeing the fact she's got this mask on. Like, where'd you get that mask?
Very sensitive matter, Clementine. Let's not.
Yeah, she grins underneath the mask, and then she says, "Found it in the depths, some kind of ancient magic thing." And she's bullshitting. Like, she's not even trying not to be. But the fact that it might be real, like, settles over the table for a moment, right? There are weird artifacts in the hand.
Can I do something weird? Can I do something weird?
Yeah.
So we know that the King of Lies was also somewhere down there somewhere.
Yeah.
So can I attune to this mask and make it so that he blessed this mask before it came into her possession?
Sure. You sure, Saeeda. You have
Sure.
proven that you can screw with the flow of time. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying. And like we established that some kind of ontological shift occurred with the King of Lies down in Ipri, so maybe this is part of that, and maybe it will always have been part of that, and also this is definitely not a test run. So
well, you can try. You can try.
Yeah.
So it's risky standard for you to take this lie and make it true.
Would you like some assist on that?
Yes, I would love an assistance on this.
Oh, 100%. I want that mask.
How are you assisting, though?
So you're reaching back into the flow of time and making it so, right?
Something like that.
That needs a lot of energy. Clem's got a lot of energy to spare.
Ooh, yes. Very good.
Maybe Saeeda Auntie kind of pretends to be a little bit feeble for a moment. Clem offers an arm, bit of physical contact.
Okay,
Great.
so you're just kind of leeching off energy, yeah?
That's what happens when you get two locked Doom fans together, locked in a room. I understand what's happening here.
Very good.
Yeah. It's fine. I'm not. Okay. In fact, I just realized, shit, you're my cav. Well, it's fine. I will definitely eat you alive to become immortal. That's totally fine. I don't mind doing that.
And I'll always be a part of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Risky standard, 1 bonus die, right?
Yes. Let's see how this goes.
2 6s.
Okay, so you critically succeed. Yes, Mona's mask is magical. You have established it thus. She said it. She was bullshitting when she said it. But I think what we realize is, she still got this mask made for her before she became an archaeo miner, because it was just to cover up a disability. What happens here, I think, what makes sense is that the paint is from down there. There's like some sort of weird pigments on it that maybe someone found them and painted them on, or maybe the mask just kind of changed when she was down there. And so the critical success is not only is the mask magical, but you tell me what it does. You roll 2 6s, so I think it's just fair.
Yeah, I think that what the paint does is that and again, I'm linking this to the House of Lies or the King of Lies thing, is that the more she wears it, the more the flesh underneath resembles the mask that she wears. And it resembles the painted on face, right? And this is why, like, she can't afford surgery, but she can definitely afford some weirdo fucked up arcane nonsense. But also, she didn't know that was happening until now, right? So
her face is transforming. Lovely.
Yeah, I think like over time. It's not like a fast thing, but very slowly. And it's not even necessarily healing, because I don't know that like the face on the mask is like a normal face. It's like a stylized something, right?
Yep.
So that's what's happening. That's fun.
Yeah. Very good. She looks over you and she grins as she says this like bullshit line about how it's an ancient magical mask, and then the mask also grins.
Yes.
As she says it. So
and I think I will just like I'm gonna rest my hand on Clem's shoulder. She's taking some sport, and I will say, you should be careful what you pick up down there.
Well, not my call. I've got a job now. I've got a crew.
Mona, I didn't know you were all about that 9 to 5 grind. Mona, that's not the kind of person that I remember you being. You were always like a badass with a sword, and like, you know, there was a reason everyone called you darling. Everyone was like this, like, you know, absolute like badass rolling through the streets. That's the Mona that I remember. Where is she?
Oh, by the way, since you said the crew's going international, I
Mm-hmm.
think that's a good time to describe what Mushfiq's wearing as a disguise.
Yes.
What I had in mind.
Uh-huh.
So,
I forgot about that.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So he's wearing just a massive naval coat, like it's blue, and it's
What?
mainly blue with like
Uh-huh.
yellows and
What?
oranges. No. All right. Who knows where he picked this up from, or even what nation's navy this is, right?
Uh-huh.
And he's got an eye patch.
Okay.
Oh,
So you're
she's
from
got an
the
eye
Great
patch.
Navy.
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay.
And listen, everyone knows what a cool badass you are, and like you can see that our crew is full of all sorts of badasses. We have Saeeda here, we have Golden Knight Clementine, pilot always like, you know, like doesn't say a single word because there's no need to speak to someone if you're going to kill them, right? Isn't that right, pilot? Exactly. Yes. That's
Pilot
absolutely.
says.
Yeah.
A lot of words, but it's sound.
And we have Captain Mackerel here. Fresh from Dagger Islanders Navy. Absolute stone cold badass Corsair pirate.
Yeah, I see it. Do you have the lion? He says, and he looks at you. And her boyfriend, who died, was nicknamed the Lion.
Yes.
Just
Yeah, he was.
FYI.
That's true.
And she just looks at you dead-eyed and asks you, do you?
No.
Yes.
The lion is dead. Ramu is dead. B is dead. That other guy with the long name, I forget what it was. He's also dead. They're all dead. You know all this, Mona. I can't have the lion because he's dead. Will you hold it against me that this is the case?
You asked me what happened to that Mona. Now you know.
That's true. Fine. Makes sense. People change. You have changed. I have also changed. You remember me as being little bitch of a boy, Ramu's son. Now I am still Ramu's son. That boy hasn't gone away, but I'm someone else on top of it now. And you are now someone else on top of the old Mona. But that Mona's still there, and I'm also sure that this new Mona is also an absolute badass.
Okay, I think you're set up for a role. I think this is a good point for it.
Yeah, I'll say what my thing actually. I was about to finish my pitch, which is, and okay, new job and all that, I understand, but there's a reason you took up the sickle sword. It was to protect the Kethrisi people and to give us something worth believing in. And now people are trying to destroy us, just as we were destroyed before. And you can't tell me that there isn't something in you that responds to that. And now we'll roll.
Absolutely. So
Sway or console?
I think it's sway. I think you're trying to persuade her. And I think that there is some risk involved here. I don't think this is just straightforwardly like an acquire asset or something. I think it's controlled for now. Actually, I'll start it off with controlled limited. I think it's reasonable. And limited will be you can get her help temporarily, but she won't be like completely persuaded. You can like ask her for a favor. So you can trade that up to risky standard if you want.
Yeah. I'd like to go for risky standard. And
I'm wondering, would I be able to set that up to increase the effect? I'm feeling that Clem steps up to Mona, and the old school's dead, right? And you're languishing in the depths. Do something. Do something good.
Okay. So it's a setup action. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Clem, it's a setup action. You can roll it as sway or command or consort, as you please. And it will be risky standard. Let's just call it risky standard because it's a setup action. And the risk you are taking is Mona having an opinion on you or finding something out about you, depending on how this goes.
Sounds good. I'm going to go for commands. I'm commanding obedience with my force of personality. And I
Nice.
will also push myself for an extra die.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, risky, standard. Die. That's a 4.
Yeah. Okay, so Bidrohi is set up, and she looks at you, and she, takes in Clem for a moment, and then she says, "You didn't lose people like I did. You left."
I'm going to resist that.
Uh-huh.
Fuck you. No.
Uh-huh.
I'm
She
going to
doesn't get to
resist
know
that
that.
by having had so many people die.
Uh-huh.
They all died.
Yeah.
Fuck you,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
all died.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's just, what she is saying is, I fought to the end, I just happened to survive and you didn't. And that's maybe true if you don't resist this. Like, yep.
Yeah. What shall I resist with? They're all equal, so it doesn't really matter.
It's probably resolve, I
yeah,
think.
it makes sense to be resolved, right? Just
Mhm.
no expression.
Mhm.
Ooh,
Oh,
I
wow,
am
okay.
very fucking
So you
stressed out by that.
You take 4 stress. But I think this resists it fully. And so do you say anything back to her, or do you just let your expression speak for you?
Yeah, just a sneer.
Yeah. And then she says, or maybe you're wearing a mask too.
Nice.
And I think that's that, right? She isn't sure. She throws the accusation at you, doesn't get the reaction she expected, and figures maybe she did misjudge you. Maybe you are more experienced than you seem. Maybe this isn't just an act.
Nice.
And Bidrohi, sure. You are at controlled, standard, or
Standard.
risky great. Your choice.
I would like to be at risky great because I was thinking about this. I will I let this exchange happen, and then it turned back to Mona, and I'm going to reach for her hand.
Yeah.
And I will just say, trying to think of a name. Yeah, and I will just say, Fatima needs someone to look after her, and this is her sister.
Ah, okay.
She still has people left in Bundervest that she kind of abandoned.
Absolutely. So risky great. You have been set up.
Yeah. Can I have Devil's Bargain, please?
Yes.
Can I assist?
Okay.
Can I assist even though you've been set up?
Yes, of course you can.
You can assist as well.
Okay,
How are you
then
assisting?
Mushfiq just says
How does Captain Mackerel help?
Yes, Captain Mackerel. I think this character is supposed to be older than Mushfiq, or the persona that goes, "My dear, if there's anything my time in the Navy has taught me, is that the crew must always stick together. Even when anyone doesn't do their job, the ship goes under."
Yeah. Okay. Sure. So.
Thank you.
I
appreciate
that.
So
she goes, he's definitely wearing a mask. I think she's a good enough judge of character, but it still gets through to her. It's still a nice sentiment. And I have a devil's bargain for you. So you've introduced Fatima, who is Mona's sister. And someone please note this down because it's getting to a tangled web of NPCs. Your devil's bargain, should you choose to accept it, is that Fatima is your ex. You had a fling, you don't anymore. Things are not good between you.
I was going to say that is exactly what I want.
Yeah. Mona does not know this yet. This, was either it happened after her time or it was kept from her, but she will find out and it will complicate things.
So she doesn't know that I was with Fatima, or doesn't know that I'm no longer with Fatima? Which bit?
She doesn't know that you're no longer with her. Yeah. So she knows that you were an item, and this is probably part of why this works, but she doesn't know that you broke up.
Yeah. She's probably like, oh no, I can't leave Fatima to be defended by this fucking idiot.
Yeah.
6,
It's
3,
a
3,
6.
3, 3.
You roll a 6.
I didn't need any of you.
Yeah. So Mona says like, "You had to go and bring up my family, right? Okay, but you'd best take care of her real good, Bidrohi. Eat up the snails."
Yes, they are famous aphrodisiac. Yes, I am totally with Fatima, and yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm. She
Yes.
stands up. She looks at Clem and goes like, "I'm sorry if I misjudged you. Sometimes I don't really understand people as well as I think. But he is absolutely not a Navy guy, right?" And she asks Clem, looking at Captain Mackerel.
No, Mona, that is Shere Khatam in clever disguise. But of course you know him.
I'm going to like clap my hand over Bidrohi's mouth, and I will say, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Like you say, he's an idiot.
He is indeed Captain Mackerel, but I don't believe Captain Mackerel has ever stepped foot upon the seas.
But no, guys, Mona is not part of the crew, and everything's.
I'm sorry to tell you that my hand is still firmly over your mouth.
Mona stands up and she says, "Well, I gotta go collect my last paycheck, but I know where the school is. I'll make my way over there." Okay.
I give a thumbs up.
And she goes, "Pilot, you want to watch my back while I collect my last paycheck? I'm not sure they're gonna take well to it." And Pilot goes, and follows her.
I'm going to try to remove the hand. I'm going to try to remove the hand on my mouth.
You should roll for it.
Fine,
You
I'll
can
roll
roll
for
whatever you like.
I'm going to roll. I'm going to roll finesse because I'm not going to fight Saeeda, auntie.
That makes sense.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a 3 and a 1. I feel like what that means is, as you shake your head violently, I remove my hand because I'm like, I don't want to get bit by you, and I will say, so you've learned your lesson, right?
Mona, keep the cool lance thing. Steal it.
You shout, "Steal it!" across the room. Fantastic.
Like, I literally was like, have you learned your lesson? And what he does is prove that he has not.
I learned my lesson that big Sparkcraft electric drill lances are fucking sick as shit, okay?
I hate this.
This is very true.
So much. I will...
Who will disagree?
No comment.
Not me.
Okay. That's one thing I wanted to do. I
Yes.
can skip the other thing I wanted to do.
And you know what? Let's stay in this scene just because it's funny. I think
Yes.
Giscard is catching up with you. Giscard was at your
Oh,
door
yeah, that guy.
when you left last session.
Yeah.
But Giscard was having a
back.
conversation with Moss. So
Yes.
I think now is where we introduce Giscard. So just to detail, he showed up at your door. He has been talking to Moss, who is not available, and Moss has informed him of what is going on. And then he has come to find you here in this restaurant. And he steps in and goes, "Ah, an excellent hiding place. A very good place for a discreet conversation." He shouts at the matching Bidrohi's volume. "I'll steal it."
Who the hell is this tall drink of water with the incredible voice?
And he steps in, and yes, this is Giscard, an extremely bribable silver nail.
Is he wearing the uniform?
I feel bad about this because this is Moss's character, but no, he's not wearing the uniform. He's also in a clever disguise. So I would normally paint the scene, but now I'll just define some things about him because I feel like it would be Moss's place to decide things. So he has a black mustache, well-combed black hair, and he is currently wearing a disguise, by total coincidence, as a different nation's Navy man.
Of course, very different.
Has a Navy coat that doesn't match Mushfiq's. But he swaggers over towards him and goes, "Aha, if it isn't my old rival, Captain
Mackerel?
Well, he draws it out so that Mushfiq can fill him in, you see.
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alright, so sorry, who is this?
This is Moss's
Hey,
contract.
hey,
that show up.
Absolute.
So
He is
okay,
the
but
demon
This
hunter.
guy.
okay, but and that was also like in character, I guess. Like
Yes.
sorry.
Who is this guy?
Yeah. Who is this guy? And he goes, Captain, who is this guy? Yes, we meet again.
You know the funny
Yeah,
thing
that's his
about both your disguises?
Uh.
There is only one country that has a navy.
Which one's that?
I'm
Is that Cross?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who else would have a navy?
Oh, well.
The
I mean,
Connector
they're
Islanders
islands.
would have naval power.
Yes. Yeah. He looks over at you and he says, look, I'm freelance. Okay. This is as good a place to speak as any. It's discreet, it's quiet. You did good hiding out here. No one will suspect anything suspicious going on between two rival navy captains, the Ketrisy and the Archaeominers. It is very normal.
It's very normal. Yes.
I raise my hand. And
He
since no
looks-
one, and since no one says anything, I was like, okay, very cool conversation. Who the hell are you?
My apologies. I am... And he lowers his voice conspicuously and leans forward and he says, Giscard, a friend of your sister.
Oh, any friend of Sister Moss's is a friend of mine. Please sit down. Here are some snails.
Thank you.
And of course, because the Severosi aren't really French, this isn't racist.
Yes. He picks up a snail, he studies it, and he says, I am admittedly used to more luxurious places. And then he like looks out over the area, and he says, Moss tells me you are in a load of shit, my friends. Like quite a lot of it.
Mushfiq is going to respond to the first thing he says, which is that, when you spend why am I in French accent? When you spend enough time on the in the out on sea like I have, a place like this is like paradise. You know, I'm a real captain.
Yeah, he catches on. He goes, yes, paradise. Here, drinking our rum with the girls of old Uduasha. Trails off. You are miles from any ocean, by the way.
Yeah,
You're in the desert.
The funny thing is that every time Bidrohi says something, Saeeda's like, what? You fucking idiot, shut the fuck up. But here's Mushfiq going into full-on Captain Mackerel for no reason at all, and that's fine.
What do you mean? What do you mean? No reason at all. I'm a wanted man, you know.
Yeah.
And with the disguise like this, the idea here, all right. The idea here is like, it's so ridiculous. Like, only a person who's supposed to wear this uniform will wear it.
Yes.
Yes.
See?
Yes.
So, his card, he says, like, you are in a load of shit, and he leans forward and he says, she said you need my help. And he just kind of looks around to confirm, like, is this true?
Well, we are looking for help from all sorts of quarters.
Unfortunately, not this one. Thank you for your interest, but
No, but this is
the
a
door's over
friend
there.
of... No, Clem, this is
No.
a friend of Sister Moss.
Mm.
What's happening
His
here?
eyes, his eyes drift over to Clem as you turn down the help, and he says, I see. That's very much too bad. And
What do you see? I don't know what's going on. Like, why, Clem? What's going on? Why do you not like this this sea captain? Do you like? Are you afraid of the water?
Something along those lines. Yeah.
Well, that's fine because I can confirm that this is just a disguise. This man isn't a real sea captain. It's fine.
Thank you, Bidrohi.
Can I help you? Please, can I just help you? Can I?
Yes, of course you can. Please,
I think
please feel
Clem
free to
kind of
jump in.
slaps Bidrohi on the back. It's like, yes, thank you for your help.
Feel free to
Clarifying
jump in.
that this is not a sea captain.
Yeah, if you're afraid of
I
the
will-
sea, and this man isn't a real sea captain, then I don't see what the problem is. It all makes sense. Please, Saeeda, jump in anytime you want.
Yeah, so I will just stand up and I will look him in the eye and I will say, I hope it's clear that you are not welcome here, but I think it would be impolite to send you off without so much as a goodbye. So how about I walk you to the door? And I think this is going to be my clever way of like being like, "Ooh, you can still help us, but you got to make sure that like Clementine does not find out." Because the best way of being a crew is having secrets from each other, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
100%.
Okay, so
Yeah,
he stands up. He's walked away. Yeah, and to be clear, just to establish out of character here, right? The reason that Clem doesn't trust this man is that the Silver Nails are Severosi cops, basically, right? And you don't like the police, and you don't like people who have a connection to your military past. Yeah.
100%.
Were you a
Yeah.
silver nail? I don't remember.
Oh,
No.
no,
Or well, we haven't established. I don't think Clem was, but
probably.
But you
I
were-
like-
Over his dead body.
yeah.
But you-
but I
So
think-
which is by which I mean
I'm taking his horse.
Clementine faked.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, take it.
No, the
Take
reason I'm
your
asking
horse.
is because you were a Severosi who fought in the Unity War, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So were there other Severosi except the Silver Nails who fought for the Empire in the Unity War?
Yeah, I reckon there was a conscription.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's
So it was not by choice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hmm. But these guys fought for
The-
choice.
yeah.
Hmm.
The Silver Nails chose to, I think.
Mhm.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Okay. Then I think assuming you're willing to let Giscard be walked out by Saeeda, I'm going to keep everyone distracted. I think the last thing everyone hears before we kind of close the door and the scene kind of cuts away is Bidrohi saying, "Clem, see, it's fine. Just as Captain Mackerel is secretly Sherekhatam in disguise and not a real sea captain, that man was not a real sea captain either. I understand that fear of the sea is very, very powerful. Like there's so many fucked up things in there, but it's fine. You're safe. We're so many miles inland."
Mhm.
That's why I left Sunfall. Too much
Yeah.
sea.
Good idea.
Too many sailors.
I wouldn't bother. I wouldn't bother visiting.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, we established that it's hell on earth or something, right?
And Mushfiq will like is listening to all of this, and he like sagely nods and says that I don't know a sailor anywhere, and he's not one.
Oh God.
And
His
Giscard
backup.
is walked out by Saeeda,
Yeah.
and as soon as you're out on the streets, I guess, he goes, "So, is this some kind of game you are playing, you and Moss?" To Saeeda.
No, I think Saeeda is going to do something that like maybe they haven't done ever before on screen, which is that they will look at like somebody who's also outside the pub and like see if they can bum a fag.
Yep.
And like just like look at Giscard and say, do you want to?
Thanks. Yes, I appreciate it.
Yeah, so like I'll just like slip them a couple of slugs to like make up with make the sum up, whatever, you know what I mean? Pay them back. And as I light it and take a drag, I will say the Rising Moon School is a collection of very difficult and tricky people. You've just met our most recent recruit, who is not, I don't think, any less difficult or tricky than the rest of us. I do not think that she likes Silver Nails very much. And I do not think that she likes you very much either.
Well, the feeling is very much mutual. However, you really are in a lot of trouble. From what Moss told me, this is a serious matter, and you want out, right?
We need all the help we can get. Well, every single person who is known to be linked to us is under threat. I got a very nice letter earlier today telling me that if I don't stop fishing in the Ruby Jetty, that one of the ustads of the Falling Star School will send somebody around to slit my throat. And I do not think for a single second that it was a coincidence that a demon of excess offered us a very convenient deal against the Frosan just as all this blew up.
Look, we of the Empire do not meddle in the affairs of the demon houses. It's much too dangerous and politically sensitive. But we are aware of them, of course. There is a play between Ixis and Rakis. That much I can tell you. And it seems Ixis has acted first with regards to you, but the other one will too. And probably more directly than just the school.
Yes.
I can
No, go on.
I can tell you this much. I don't know the details of the feud or the squabbling, but the thing that approached you, it is most interested in one of the Falling Star Sword school members dying in Bundevest. Why, I cannot say. It's part of its ploy. So, you kill anyone, even someone who comes after you and yours, you play straight into its hands. It's a demon of Ixis. I can't claim to know exactly what it is planning.
No, this does not surprise me. It gave us a deal we could not afford to refuse, so that when we did its bidding, we would have no choice. I am no fan of the Empire myself, but I have no luxury in this case. Bidrohi is right that if you are a friend of Moss's, you are a friend of mine.
Well,
all I wish to... No,
he says, well, I offer my assistance, but I do want you to know roughly what this thing is planning, and it will be all too easy for some of the prize pawns of Rakis to go missing in your district, which is exactly what it hopes.
Yes. If you would not be averse to assisting us, then I will endeavor to ensure that Clementine and you do not happen to operate in the same theater of this war. There is much that needs doing and not enough people to do it, and I will not turn away your help. And indeed, I'm grateful to you for it, and I'm grateful to Moss for arranging it. I can only hope that you understand that I cannot afford to turn Clementine away either.
Of course, I am quite understanding of the situation. We are not the most popular organization in Sunfall. He says with a
not in
dry little smile.
Oh no, that's not true. I think in Uduasha they have like they're kind of celebrities because they're very sexy.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, but I think they're also like the imperial power, right? Like the
Also, I think it's like
agents of the Empire. Yeah.
People just generally hate the Empire, but like the Silver Nails are kind of like the PR, like way in which the imperial propaganda can kind of filter in, because these guys are real badasses. People like Silversea in general here.
I'm hearing that they're the K-pop idols then of the Empire.
Oh my! I wish you hadn't said that. I was going to say they're the Marine Corps of the Empire, in that like they're what all of the films and the propaganda are made of. But now that you said K-pop idols, I guess this guy has a really good singing voice.
This is not canon.
Anyway, he finishes his cigarette and says that we are not popular in Sunfall. And what do you say?
Yeah. Oh, I said you are not popular in Uduasha either.
From your point of view, maybe that's true. And he says, well, count yourselves lucky that you don't have to deal with the ghosts. I can imagine why that woman has something against us. You don't take kindly to the people who bury your friends. Neither, I'll remind you, will house Rakis.
Yeah, and I think that, to be honest, this is something that Saeeda's not super familiar with, because both where they grew up and in Uduasha, and like generally in, I think, Iruvia, wherever they've traveled, like ghosts are not as common a problem as they are in Purus or Severus, right?
Yeah.
So it is something like quite different. And I think that they will also like finish the cigarette, drop it, stub it on the ground, whatever, step on it, I guess. And then she will say, there are allies that I must meet to discuss some of this demonic business. If you come with me to meet them, perhaps we can make use of each other's networks and avoid Clementine in the doing.
Meet them. I have only one question. Where?
I will send you the location. It'll be in Ashcloister.
Ashcloister. All right. I was about to say I'm not going to an establishment like this again. These snails are horrible.
One must eat them to be polite. Yeah.
I mean, this is not motivated by greed. Ashcloister is just a much nicer district.
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to turn around and basically, as I walk back in, I'll say, sorry, I just gasping for a cigarette. And like me smoking and like that conversation happening to last the length of a cigarette was like the excuse for like why I went out and I didn't come back in, right? So it's just a little more plausible deniability.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. I think that wraps the scene. You have Mona.
I just have one question for Clementine, and I think like as I'm eating snails, I ask her. Actually, no, it wouldn't make sense for me to ask it because I am convinced. I think in character that you're afraid of the ocean, and that's why you don't like that guy. But how did you know he was a silver nail? Because he didn't come in the uniform, and he was pretending to be a sea captain.
The silver nails wear silver nails as in the form of a ring. They're very obvious.
But that's why I'm saying that he wouldn't have been wearing that, right?
No, I think he would have.
Else?
I think he would have, even undercover. Because the thing is, the silver that they wear is their only defense against ghosts. And I think there are no ghosts in Uduasha, but I don't see a silver nail taking that off. Like they get pretty fucking paranoid about ghosts. And it's discreet enough if no one looks directly at your hands, right? Probably he was wearing lots of rings. Just one of them happens to be the silver ring.
Okay, that makes sense. If you know what you look for, it's there.
Yeah, maybe it's a custom in Severus to look at each other's hands when you see somebody.
Yeah. Or maybe you just looked because you recognized he was Severus.
100%.
Figured something didn't add up, and
Yeah.
And I don't think they take those rings off. It's one of those like because if they do, they are defenseless against ghosts, and they are people who have seen what ghosts can do up close, right?
Maybe they have like so there's a spider ability, ghost contract, right? Like if you break your contract, then you immediately suffer a fate worse than death. Maybe they have those about never taking the ring off.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, especially because I think it's implied that the ghost fighter ability comes from the silver nail itself, not like anything innate. Yeah, like you become a silver nail and you get that ability because of the silver nail.
Very cool.
Yep.
Okay. So guest card is going to help us, and we have acquired Mona.
And I mean they hold an interesting position, right? Because they are partly Severosi cops, but I imagine since Severos is more like sparsely inhabited, they're not so much police as much as they are like the Inquisition. So like they show up, they kill all the ghosts, deal with the problems, kill anyone who may or may not be possessed, and salt the earth, kind of thing. One of the things that I was thinking, because I was doing a little bit of like Severosi world building for something that didn't end up taking off, and Salty, you can veto this or whatever because you're the resident Severosi representative here. But the thing I was thinking was that Silver Nails are kind of like a pariah group in Severos because they threw in with the Empire, so they're like made up of like kind of oppressed tribes and so on, who are still like badass fighters who have to live in the wilderness and they can't live in the fortress cities.
So it's a sort of like strange sort of like thing where through imperial influence, they're now these inquisitors and so on. But like the traditional role has been like almost untouchable.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good way to do it, I think.
That might add another reason why Clementine doesn't like them. Maybe there's a little bit of like lingering prejudice against who they're really supposed to be in the culture. I don't know if that's something you're interested in, but maybe it's part of it.
Yeah, consider that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely interesting that they are pariahs.
Yeah. Consider making your character racist.
Or racist.
Yeah. But anyway, that's just something I was thinking. So what happens now?
I was about to get to that. What happens now is, I mean, problem hasn't gone away. You have Mona. You're bringing her back to the sword school. But I think Falling Star School is basically getting, like... They're snooping around not because they don't know where your lair is. They know perfectly well where your lair is. They're snooping around because they're trying to find... Right? Yeah, they're snooping around because they're trying to find an angle of attack, like a way to make this legitimate. Because they may be at war with you, but they're a little bit too refined to just show up and kick ass, right? But I think
unlike
they
Ramu,
have
who genuinely thought he could just show up and kick ass.
Yes, but they have a couple of angles. They have the arrest warrant out on Mushfiq. They have the thing on Tumdurji. They are setting traps for you like this. And so unless you want to do something else, they're going to set the next trap, simply.
Okay. I think it makes sense for us to take the initiative here.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was gonna say that we can't just wait around and put out fires. We should do something.
Yes. The wrinkle, as Saeeda has just learned, is that if you kill any of them, that somehow fulfills one of the demon's agendas.
And I suppose you do tell us this.
Yeah, I'm gonna make clear that we shouldn't be killing anybody anyway. But I will say probably I'm not immediately, because again I don't want to give away the fact that I got this from the guy that Clementine just told kindly fuck off. I'll pretend that I got it from Mr. Rohini or something, right? It's where I've been getting most of my information from anyway. How are they good? But I will be one of the key reasons we shouldn't kill anybody is it'll play into the demon's hands. And I will say, and we have to try really carefully to make sure we wanted to kill them and then we fucked up. Because if it looks like we just didn't want to kill them, the demon's gonna know, and then we'll get fucked up.
Have a response to that?
The demon has not told you to kill these people specifically, mind.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a demon of being underneath the dirt underneath Exes' feet. It's gonna suspect.
Yeah.
Okay. Someone else can respond to this if they want, because they take up a lot of spotlight. But I can, but I do have something I want to say.
I had beginnings of an idea, I guess. So, how's where's Humbi Rao in all of this? Is he acting against us? He's also supposed to be Moss's trainer, right?
Yeah. So the plan that I had, and I may as well be open with this, is that Humbi Rao actually was going to give Moss some sort of warning, and so I suppose that probably has happened, but for whatever reason, Moss is not getting it through to you.
Right.
So this information was now introduced to you in other ways. But essentially, he likes Moss enough that he can be frank with her. He's not going to not go to war with you because he has to. He has orders. But he can tell her, so...
I was thinking of working some angle where... Because last session, we were... Mushfiq was talking a lot about... the Kethrisi, resistance being divided and conquered, right? And I think it would be in his mind and kind of nice maybe to try something like that where we can kind of cause divisions amongst the Falling Star, and we know that they're pretty individualistic anyway, right? So if we can somehow convince Humbi Rao to
defect.
Oh, not necessarily defect, but or at least I mean, ideally, the Falling Star would start fighting themselves and take care of themselves. But okay, here, I'll tell you what I want. I want Humbi Rao to not trust the Falling Star anymore. That's
Okay.
that's the angle I wanna.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we can do that, and I have an angle here. So I think briefly in character.
Mhm.
So we discussed. So yeah, Saeeda tells us that we can't kill anyone because of these occult reasons, and I think Bidrohi's eyes just kind of go wide, and he says, "But of course we can't kill any of them, Auntie. These are okay, I understand. Okay, this is a very good reason also to not kill them, but I don't think we should have been doing it anyway because consider who these are. These aren't just some thugs. These aren't like Jackal's people or Omid's people or whatever. They come in and they're like nameless thugs. These are people who people know every single one of their names. These are celebrities. These are people in the limelight. They're like I of course everyone's a badass. Everyone's great, but these are like badasses with like poems written about them, right? Even the thing you were saying, Auntie, about like we should try very hardest to make it look like we're killing them, even that is very dangerous, I think. Because then we have to this is the problem, really. Like, how do we stop them without getting into trouble?
Yeah.
And maybe the solution is that they are all like badasses with poems written about them.
And Captain Mackerel says, a mutiny.
Yes, exactly. A mutiny of like, if you have so many prima donnas together, then like, how can they are all in the same school, but they're always fighting each other in the ring and so on. How can they be working together on this? We have to show them that they can.
They don't need to be working together on this. They just need to be scared enough of Jaclev.
Okay.
So what we need to do is convince them, some of them, that being scared of Jaclev is still less of an incentive than something else that they really want.
Exactly, Auntie. I like the way you're thinking.
What do they care about?
What does anybody care about? Money, sex, bureaucratic forms.
I was with you for the first two things.
That was a joke.
Yes.
I can see by the looks on your faces that you do not expect me to be funny. But that was a joke.
Auntie, we don't expect you to be funny, and it's okay that you aren't.
You have other talents.
I'm very funny. I'll have you
Yes. Yes, Saeeda.
Good.
So I propose a sort of like score where we kind of like make them turn on each other using their celebrity. Somehow.
My what I think is what we should do is have one side like we should tell the Jayclef side of the, or spread rumors around the Jayclef side that Humbi Rao, he's very friendly with the Rising Moon, right? You can't be trusted, and at the same time get Humbi Rao the idea that they are gonna like like Bidrohi said, what are they in for? Like money, power, like fame, right? We tell him that Jayclef is just pretending to use him, and we'll cut him out of the songs and everything, right?
My impression, not to contradict, but my impression was kind of like Humbi Rao is like much more down to earth than the rest of them.
Yeah.
So maybe we need a different angle for him, but like the others are like really up in their heads. And also like, I think currently the problem is that there is only the Jayclef side, like no one's breaking rank. So we have to kind of like show them, as Saeeda said, that their individual egos matter a lot more. Right?
Yeah, there's a third Ustad, right? There's Turza and Diamond Tooth. There's Jaclev. And there's another
Ankia
one whose name I can't...
Ankia the Veiled.
Yes.
Who also has some cool epithets.
Yeah. That's the one we need to focus on. That's the one whom we can pry away. Because I think Diamond Tooth is just really annoyed with us because we broke his mug or something. And Jaclev's been annoyed with me since I turned up in his life. But Ankia the Veiled, I mean, might just be annoyed that we're doing this. Might just want this to stop.
Yeah. I think
So
we can
you're planning
make
to take this all the way to the top and address the third Ustad and make her not want to go to war with you.
I think it could
Well-
we could work multiple angles here. Like we could speak to Hambi Rao, we could get at Ankia the Veiled, and I am interested in seeing Mylara Cliff. So it could just be a score where we just kind of like target each of them separately in different ways
Mm-hmm.
to kind of get them
Oh.
to break rank.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes, I will set you up for a simple way to target 2 out of 3. I don't know if I can get Hambira involved in the scene necessarily, but maybe it is possible. And I think the way to do this is that Mylara Klev is going to report back what she has found, because she is the person who's been spying around in this neighborhood. She's going to report, and I guess she's going to report to Ankia the Veiled. I guess she is, for whatever reason, working with her. And I think here is the angle where you can make this work. I'm suggesting this, you can reject it if you like, but their patron is House Anrakis, who very frequently hires a certain opera troupe that they have come to like. And so your friends in the Blue Smoke troupe can get you access to a conversation with Ankia. And Mylara will be there.
Yes. This is good, because I think that all we need to do to get Hambir Rao involved is, if it's at a show, get someone to hire Hambir Rao for security. Because we know Hambir Rao does that. Right?
He does. Okay. So the plan is to have Hambir Rao, Ankia the Veiled, and Mylara Klev at a show, and then use this to somehow get the opportunity to get a conversation with them while Mylara is trying to be like, yeah, so here's how we can kill all their friends.
I think there's a really obvious reason why Ankia the Veiled is taking point here. So there's three main ustads. There's Jai Klev, who isn't going to be directly involved. The other option is Thurzan Diamond Tooth, and who's going to make him in charge of an operation? No one. So Ankia the Veiled is just it by default.
Process of elimination.
Yeah. And she may not even be the most suitable person. Maybe she doesn't give a shit about this.
No.
And we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay, so you are going to go to an opera performance with them, and to be clear, other members of the Falling Star Sword School and other fancy people. And we'll see how it goes. I think this sounds like the makings of a score.
Before the engagement roll, really quick. So we are doing this as we're doing this as like against the crew that we're at war against, right?
Yes.
We modified war dogs to be like it counts as our hunting grounds, right?
Yep.
So I'm going to really quickly use the free downtime action you get when you do a score in your hunting grounds to reduce heat. And I think the way I'm reducing heat is when we were at the hand, Bidrohi ordered like a ceremonial sort of drink because he was looking at the wall of names, and he poured out a drink in the honor of those who were named. So it's like, it's not about like us going incognito. It's more like people would probably be less willing to give us up because we honored them.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. I'm going to call it finesse because I think it's about like looking badass and cool.
Sure. You go for looking badass, and let's see.
Roll the 3.
Yes, you roll a 3, so you reduce 1 heat.
Yeah, it does something, but it's like not really in our main district. Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah, I've rolled it away. Yeah, I think basically it's Mona causes a bit less of a stir. So let us do the engagement roll, and then I had planned for you to be attacked this session, but that is not the plan we are going with. I guess you have breathing room now.
Excellent.
So, is this operation particularly bold or daring? Yes, it is. So you're at 2 dice. Right at the start. Is this operation overly complex or contingent on many factors? Also, yes. There's like a lot of falling star people there. So we're losing a die. So we're at back to 1. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? I think arguably yes. Their egos, right? You're planning on the fact that they have fuck all teamwork. So 2 dice. Is the target strongest against this approach? No, I don't think so. So we're at 2 dice. Can any friends or contacts provide aid? Yeah, I think your allies have. So we're at 3 dice. Are any enemies or rivals interfering? Clem, I want to ask: is your rival, the rich libertine, the sort of person who might go to opera performances with the Falling Star Sword School, or are they a different sort of libertine and hedonist?
Maybe they are.
Have you established anything about Tamira?
I have not. No. I think fuck it. Let's put Tamira in there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's not going to be private for the Falling Star Sword School alone, right? It's a performance, and it's not inside the Rockies mansion, because then this would be insane. It's somewhere semi-public. It's in a nice district. There's an opera performance. It's sponsored by the Falling Star. They paid for it, but it's like a thing that you can attend. And so Tamira can absolutely attend it. Why is Tamira your rival? What's the situation between you and them, her?
I think this is somebody I was assigned to work for back in Sunfall.
Okay. Yeah, excellent. So it's a rich hedonist, maybe new money, who kept you on their payroll, and you rebelled? What? Something like that?
Yeah, something like that. I think I've got some ideas brewing. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a suggestion for why they're specifically coming to this. They are Cherubino's new patron/lover.
Yes, of course. Tamira.
Cherubino being my unofficial rival. Yes. Of course, Cherubino's going to be here. He's going to be here, it's a problem.
I mean, he's one of the performers. So
yes, yeah.
But okay. That's fine. That's so totally normal and fun.
So then we're back to 2 dice. And are there any other elements you want to consider? Yeah, they're higher tier. So I think we're putting it 1 die. It's not as bad as it could be.
Still not as good as it could be. Oh well, it is what it is.
Yes.
I nominate Clementine to roll, as it is there first.
Yes. Please, Clementine, roll a die.
You don't want to do this.
Oh, yes, I do.
Absolutely do. Yeah.
It's just 1 dice. How bad could it be? It's a 50-50 chance.
Yeah.
2 or 3. Oh.
Go on.
Right, come on.
Go on.
Are we all? Yep.
Hey,
That's what we wanted.
There it is.
Okay.
That's like a crit, but in a different way.
Yeah.
Here close the doors to the House of Endings. Those who dwell within are Zoheb, called Klow, Aadiyat, called Soap, Soumithri, called Tree, and Emma. I have been Prince, your host. Our city of Uduasha is based on Blades in the Dark by John Harper and Evil Hat Productions, with special thanks to Johnstone Metzger. Follow us on Twitter, or support us on kofi.com/desperateattune. If you want to engage further with us, we also have a Patreon at patreon.com/desperateattune, where you will get our newsletter, extra content, and updates from Uduasha.
On the next Desperate Attune.
I'm stopped, and my invitation is asked for, and I already gave the invitation away. And if I had more time, I'd bullshit my way through it. And I think at some point I realized that Clem, who said after you, didn't in fact come after me.